Good evening and welcome to the 38th Freedom Front Awards Gala for the Columbia branch of the NAACP. I'm Dr. Bobby Donaldson, a founder of Columbia SC63, Our Story Matters Project, professor of history, and executive director of the Center for Civil Rights History and Research at the University of South Carolina. And I'm a proud life member of the NAACP. I want to thank President Ovita Glover for asking me to help document the extraordinary history of this Columbia branch. I'm also honored to work with President Brenda Murphy in chronicling the history of our state conference. Tonight is a moment of celebration and recognition, but is also a moment of reflection as we study our past to prepare ourselves for the challenges we face right now. The NAACP was founded in 1909. Under the leadership of James Weldon Johnson, the association pressed into the South, knowing that the struggle had to take root where oppression was the greatest. That vision brought the NAACP to Columbia, Charleston, and communities across the region. When we turn the pages, we find a deep and moving history that needs to be told and studied time and time again. Turn the page to February 1917, when the Capital City Civic Club became the Columbia branch. I.S. Levy, Butler W. Nance, and N.J. Frederick declared that voting was a matter of necessity and grave importance. They urged, teach them the necessity and importance of citizenship. Get them to work in getting men registered, that we may preserve and perpetuate our civil and political rights for the present, and pass down to future generations an heirloom of liberty and justice. When we turn the pages of history again, we see the names and faces of men and women who worked on behalf of future generations. Some names are familiar, and other names need to be lifted up. We remember I.S. Levy, Butler W. Nance, N.J. Frederick, Dr. H.H. Cooper, Dr. Matilda Evans, Miss Celia Dow Saxon, Miss Majeska Monteith Simpkins, Miss Septima Clark, Dr. Robert Mance, Reverend E.A. Adams, Attorney Harold Boulware, Attorney Hemphill Pride, Reverend James M. Hinton, A.P. Williams Jr., Reverend Roscoe C. Wilson, and Reverend J.C. Williams. And we remember Attorney Matthew Perry, Attorney Lincoln Jenkins, Dr. B.J. Glover, Reverend William McKinley Bowman, Frank B. Washington, Adele Adams, John Roy Hopper, James Felder, Reverend Otis Outing, Dr. Lonnie Randolph, and Miss Ovita Glover. Turn to the 1940s, when the branch stood with George Elmore in the fight to end the all-white Democratic Party. Turn to the 1950s, when members here in Columbia gave support to the families in Somerton in the Briggs v. Elliott case, and when the branch stood with Sarah Mae Fleming months before Rosa Parks as she challenged bus segregation in this very city. Turn the page to the 1960s, when students from Allen University and Benedict College marched and protested to the State House of South Carolina. When turned back, they lifted their voices in song, like a tree planted by the water, we shall not be moved. When forbidden to sing or clap, they hummed. And students like Bernard Moore and James McDuffie declared, if the old people won't march, the young people will. Turn the page to August of 1963, when dozens from this branch traveled by train, bus, and car to the March on Washington. Senator Strom Thurmond dismissed the movement and the march as, quote, entirely unnecessary. But Columbia Branch President Reverend Lindsey Crumlin spoke truth to power, declaring, now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. Reverend Crumlin's words remain our charge right now, tonight. But to make real the promises of democracy, we must know our story. We must know the stony roads we've trod. We must know the bitter and chastening rods. We must know and study this history. Turn the pages. The Columbia branch has pressed forward through victories, setbacks, and struggles. And today, when rulers in high places seek to silence, erase, and whitewash the past, We must safeguard our history. Our stories are a lamp unto our feet and a light unto our path. As we work today and move forward in the future, there is still much more to uncover as we remember the legacy and work to document the people, the moments, the places, and the events that shaped the civil and human rights struggle right here in Columbia. And that is why Columbia SC63 and the Center for Civil Rights History and Research at the University of South Carolina are pleased to support tonight's gala. And together with this branch, we will continue to preserve, to document, and to share the history of the long struggle for freedom and justice. Congratulations to the Columbia branch of the NAACP and to all who are being honored tonight. May we continue to make real the promises of democracy. Thank you.